You know that feeling? That subtle shift that happens in the late afternoon, maybe around 4 p.m.? A kind of creeping sense of anxiety, or maybe some brain fog just settles in. And, most of us just write it off. We say, oh, it's just part of getting older. But what if I told you that feeling, that little thief of your peace, has nothing to do with your age? What if it's actually a solvable problem, something you have complete control over? What if it's all about your light? Today, we're going to dive into the incredible science that connects the light in your home to your mood, your energy, and your well-being after 60. This is all about taking back control. All right, let's get into it.
So, here's our roadmap for today. First, we're going to unmask a hidden saboteur. I like to call it the 4 p.m. thief. Then, we'll get into the science of what's really changing in your eyes. After that, we pivot to this really empowering idea of your luminous sovereignty. And I'm going to give you the exact playbook with the Lumen-Logic Protocol. We'll wrap things up by reframing this as a move toward a higher resolution life, and finish with a simple challenge you can start, well, right away.
Okay, so let's start by putting a name to a face, so to speak. We're talking about that feeling, that subtle shift that can just hijack an otherwise great afternoon. It's so common, but people rarely talk about it. Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on this little thief and figuring out exactly where it comes from.
This right here, this is the whole game. That feeling of restlessness, maybe a little irritability, it feels so personal, right? Like it's some kind of failing on our part. But it's not. It's actually just an environmental problem. Think about it. Our bodies are basically programmed to sync up with the sun. But now we live indoors, under artificial light that was designed decades ago. Your body is still running on that ancient software, and our modern homes are creating a massive disconnect. We're about to learn how to fix that.
Okay, first big idea, the Lux Gap. Lux is just a way to measure how bright light is. So imagine your brain is a command center, and your eyes are scouts out in the field. When we're young, those scouts have a crystal clear radio. But as we age, the signal just naturally gets a bit weaker. So to get that same clear message back to the command center, that all-important, everything is safe, you can relax message, the scouts have to shout louder. They need more light, more lux. The Lux Gap is that space between the quiet message your lights are sending and the loud, clear signal your brain is waiting to hear. And that leads right into our next concept, circadian mismatch. See, it's not just about being able to see clearly, it's about feeding your brain the right kind of light at the right time. Our feel-good brain chemical, serotonin, is massively influenced by light. When your brain doesn't get that bright, crisp signal in the morning, it's like you're trying to start the day on an empty stomach. You're just running on fumes. The problem is, most of our homes are lit for a 25-year-old's eyes, which leaves your brain literally starving for the light it needs to feel good. So what happens when your brain is starved for light? It can slip into a state called biological dimming. Now, this isn't some huge, dramatic fight-or-flight response. No, it's more like a low hum of anxiety running in the background all day. It's the reason why a tiny annoyance at 4:30 p.m. can feel like a major crisis. Your brain is already working overtime just to feel safe, so you've got way less emotional energy left to deal with, well, with life. It sees the lack of clear visual information as a potential threat, and it's quietly wrecking your peace.
Okay, so we've identified the problem, the Lux Gap and biological dimming. But now, let's get into the why. What's actually changing in our eyes that makes light so much more important as we get into our 60s and beyond? Let's look under the hood. All right, there are 4 big things happening here. First, the lenses in our eyes naturally start to yellow a bit. It's kind of like having a built-in pair of amber sunglasses that you can never take off. This literally blocks some of that cool blue light that's so critical for waking up your brain. Second, our pupils get a bit smaller and don't open as wide. Think of it like a camera lens that's stuck on a smaller setting. It just lets in less light. So put those two together, and number 3 is the result. Just plain less light data is reaching your brain. And finally, number 4, our contrast sensitivity drops. That makes it harder to see the difference between, say, a dark rug and a dark floor, which makes just getting around a bit more stressful. Now, this brings us to a really common question, a place where a lot of us get confused. We hear all this stuff about how blue light from our screens is so bad for us, and you know what? For the evening, that's absolutely true. But does that mean all blue light is the enemy all the time? And here we have the blue light paradox. It's so simple, but so important. Yes, you have to avoid blue light at night because it shuts down melatonin, the hormone that helps you sleep. But here's the flip side. In the morning, shutting down melatonin is exactly what you want. A big blast of cool blue spectrum light first thing in the morning is the signal your brain needs to hit the brakes on melatonin and floor it on serotonin. That's what gives you that stable, all-day energy, Without it, you can feel kind of groggy and out of it for hours, like your internal clock is stuck somewhere between night and day. This slide just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, a young retina, it gets a clear safety signal with just normal lighting. Easy. But look at the right. Because of that yellowing lens and smaller pupil, an older retina needs three times the light just to send the exact same message. And when it doesn't get it, it sends a constant low battery alert to your entire nervous system. And that just drains you, emotionally and physically, all day long.
And remember that drop in contrast? Well, that leads to something called visual task saturation. Have you ever tried to read a menu in a really dark restaurant? Think about how hard you have to focus. Now imagine your brain doing that level of work all day long, just to figure out the layout of your own living room. A dark corner isn't just a corner, it's a question mark. The space under the couch is a potential obstacle. It is absolutely exhausting for your brain. And when your brain is that tired, there's just no energy left for things like patience or feeling peaceful.
Okay, we've laid out the problem, we've gone through the science. And I know, it might sound a little discouraging, but right here, this is where everything turns around. Because this knowledge isn't a burden, it's a key. It's the key that unlocks what we call luminous sovereignty, the power to take back total control of your environment for your own well-being.
This is it. This is the single most important idea we're going to talk about. We have to stop thinking of our lamps as just pretty objects that happen to hold a light bulb. We need to start seeing them as what they really are, powerful tools. Tools that can literally tune our brain chemistry. You're not just decorating a room anymore, you're designing a neuro-supportive environment. You're going from being a passive resident to being the active, sovereign architect of your own life.
Just let that one sink in for a second. This isn't just a catchy phrase, it's a biological fact. When your brain gets flooded with clear, bright light, it finally receives that safety signal it's been waiting for. It can relax, it can ease up on the stress hormones, and ramp up the serotonin. Seriously, giving your brain enough bright light is one of the most direct, powerful ways to manage that low-level background anxiety.
And you know what? Maybe the best part of this whole thing is that it lets you off the hook. It takes the shame out of it. The question stops being this internal nagging voice saying, "What's wrong with me? Why do I feel so irritable?" And instead, it becomes a practical, solvable external question. What's wrong with the light in this room? And that is so empowering. It lets you look for solutions in your house, not for flaws in yourself.
All right, understanding all this is great, but putting it into practice is what really counts. So now we get to the fun part, the action plan. Let's walk through a simple 5-step framework called the Lumen-Logic Protocol. This is your practical guide to turning your home into a fortress of well-being for your brain. Here they are, the 5 core steps. And I don't want you to see this as just another to-do list. Think of these as drills, simple, repeatable actions that build up your home's defenses against that Lux Gap. You're basically building layers of light that protect your brain's chemistry and keep your mood stable and, most importantly, under your control.
Okay, let's break it down. Number 1, the morning blue sky flood. This one is non-negotiable. For 30 minutes, sometime before 10 a.m., you've got to get your eyes in front of bright, cool white light. Look for bulbs labeled 5000 Kelvin or 5000 K. This is the master reset for your body clock. Number 2, the 3-layer lighting standard. Forget just one light in the ceiling. You need layers. General, ambient light for the whole room, focused task light for reading, and accent light to wash away those scary shadows in the corners. Number 3, the Kelvin Transition. This is where you really become a pro. During the day, you use that cool 5000 K light. But after sunset, you must switch to a warm, amber light, around 2700 K. This signals to your brain that it's time to start making melatonin for sleep. Number 4, the glare audit. Walk around your house. See any bare light bulbs? That harsh light is like static for your brain. Cover them with shades. And finally, number 5, the glow path. For those middle-of-the-night trips to the bathroom, use dim, amber, motion-activated nightlights. This keeps you safe without jolting your brain awake. Now, it is so important that we frame this in the right way. It's really easy to hear that you have a new need and think of it as a new weakness. But that is absolutely not what's happening here. This isn't about decline, it's about refinement. It's about stepping into a whole new level of awareness.
Let me be really clear. Needing more light is not a weakness. It's a sign of what you could call advanced sensory maturity. Your brain has a lifetime of experience. It knows what a clear, safe world is supposed to look like. And now, it's just refusing to settle for the fuzzy, low-resolution signal it gets from a dim room. It's not a failure of your eyes, it's an upgrade in your brain's standards. It's demanding a better signal, and now you know how to give it one.
Think about it. You've spent decades learning how life feels. Now, you get to design how your life looks to support those good feelings. You are a master of the spectrum. You know the cozy feeling of a worn lamp versus the harsh buzz of an old office light. This is the sovereignty of your second act, having the wisdom to know what your body needs and the power to shape your world to deliver it.
Okay, we have covered a ton of ground, from brain science to light bulbs, but none of it matters if we don't put it into action. So let's bring it all home with one simple, super easy challenge you can do the second we're done here.
If you take only one thing away today, please let it be this. Your mood is not a mystery. It's not some random thing that happens to you. So often, it is a direct reflection of the light in your environment. You live in a dim, shadowy world. You're going to feel kind of dim and shadowy. But the opposite is also true. When you flood your space with clear, bright light, you can flood your mind with peace and clarity.
So, here it is, the challenge. This isn't about going out and buying all new lights for your entire house tomorrow. It's about one small step. I want you to look around you, right now. Think about your favorite reading chair, or the spot in the kitchen where you make coffee. Where's the one dark corner that you can brighten today? Find it. Add a small lamp, or put in a brighter bulb. Make one tiny part of your world brighter, and just see how it feels. In the end, this is about so much more than light. It's about taking charge. Remember, your lighting is a powerful tool for your well-being, not just some decoration. You have the power to change how you feel with the flip of a switch. So start with that morning blue sky flood tomorrow. It's the best way to set yourself up for a calm, energized day. Know that this control, this luminous sovereignty, is the key to a calm heart. You can do this. Go forward, audit the Lux, anchor the Kelvin, and lead your life with the sovereignty you have absolutely earned.